our special live election results for presidential primaries. Today, we're going to dissect the pulse of democracy as voters in pivotal states like Wisconsin, Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island cast their ballots. So join us as we unravel the fate of presumptive nominees, explore statewide ballots measures, and dive into the political currents shaping our nation. So remember, every vote counts, and today's primaries are a crucial chapter in unfolding drama of the 2024 election season. So let's get started.
Sorry, I was a little late getting in here.
Hi there, Brendan.
Hey, everybody.
So we're getting started here and letting people know we've got 7 states going off tonight. We've got Wisconsin, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Arkansas, Mississippi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who else did I miss? New York. New York. You got to know that one. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
We know how that's going to go. But that's to let you know that we're going to be trying to watch all the election results here, and we'll see what we got here coming up. Excuse me. Got to get this going here, but we're going to start off with some of the things that we're going to be looking out for tonight. So in Wisconsin voters will decide the fate of 2 Republicans-backed statewide ballot measures that will shape how elections in the state are run and funded. Although multiple names will remain on the ballot, of course, Joe Biden and Trump don't have anybody running against them. They've printed their ballots out prior to people dropping out. So in Connecticut and Rhode Island, we got voters in these states will have additional options of voting uncommitted this year. If they want to register as a protest vote against Biden or Trump, they can vote uncommitted. And in Delaware, we have also scheduled to hold a Republican presidential primary, but it was canceled after former candidate Nikki Haley had her name removed from the ballot, leaving Trump the only one remaining in Canada. So we won't see anything from them. So a Democrat primary will also have been held, but was the only Biden only candidate, so the event was never scheduled. So we may not get anything from Delaware either. So we got Arkansas and Mississippi. Voters in these states will return to the polls to decide a handful of legislative seats that were forced into runoffs in primaries held earlier in March. Remember, these primary elections play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape and determining candidates for the general election in November.
I'm trying to find any numbers I can right now. I'm not seeing anything from anybody.
Looks like we're not going to get anything until about 8 o'clock.
That late, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, we've got about an hour before Connecticut closes. So we'll be looking at them. They had early voting already, which was March 26th, 27th, 28th, and the 30th from 10 to 6. So we'll be getting Connecticut. And of course, they just said Delaware has canceled all theirs. And we'll be seeing Mississippi all at 8 o'clock. Then 8:30, we're going to see Arkansas. And then 9 o'clock, we will see New York and Rhode Island and Wisconsin all at the same time. So we'll be getting through stuff pretty quick here. And
yeah,
so that'll be pretty good. So hopefully they'll get on with the numbers. Right now, we've got Trump speaking in Wisconsin. And I don't know how long ago he started, but there's a lot of things.
It's probably been close to an hour at this point.
Has that been that long?
Probably about that long. Yeah, I was watching some of it. Uh, didn't see it from the start. Just more of the same messaging that he gives at most of his speeches. Looks like Trump got a big endorsement today with the police officers in Grand Rapids, Michigan today. He spoke in Michigan before heading out to Wisconsin today, so he picked up a big endorsement there today. Um, this election, you should be able to run on just this week alone. You got it really is a tale of two cities or two countries, however you want to phrase it. You got Joe Biden and the Democrats that completely ignored this Officer Diller, that was killed in New York this past week. Didn't even pick up the phone and give the family a call to offer his condolences. And you have President Trump, who showed up to the funeral, met with the widow and the young infant son that is now fatherless because of the radical left policies in New York. So this election should be pretty open and shut, I think. Do you want the side that abandons uh, everyday voters and law enforcement and holds an event where it's like 250 grand a plate, I think, and it was like
Yeah.
I think it was around the same price for a selfie with Biden, Obama, and Clinton. But these are the people that are supposed to be for the working class and the grassroots. Or do you want the guy that's going out shaking hands and comforting the people that are, the closest to the victims of the radical left's policies? I think this election's a pretty clear decision.
Most definitely, because, and I don't know if it means not a lot, but all this money that these Democrats are forcing Trump to pay out, and that $175 million he had to put up for bond, and he still paid that poor woman's mortgage off for her.
Yeah,
Now that's a
absolutely.
real president. That's a real guy that cares about America.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
him doing that doesn't buy him 1,000 votes, 2,000 votes, like this idiot Joe Biden with trans bullshit, because he's trying to buy votes, or paying off student loans for people because he's trying to
Right.
buy votes. He doesn't give two shits about you or I,
No,
but these people fall for it.
And the thing that's most telling about this whole thing, Trump giving the money to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation so they could pay off this mortgage.
Right.
Trump didn't even announce that himself. That was leaked to the press. There was somebody on the inside that leaked that. Trump has never even mentioned that, as far as I know. He never has said a word about him donating money to pay off Officer Diller's widow's house. He's never even made mention of it. It's just amazing how different the two are. How anybody could possibly be on the fence this election or think about voting for Joe Biden, it's just beyond me. Especially after this past week. I mean, we could talk about the shitstorm that we've gone through the last few years all we want. But you see the comparison between the two, the contrast between the two of them. I don't know how you could support Biden over Trump. I don't understand it.
No, and I got an article here that came in late today, and I didn't get to put it in the script, but A.G. Garland pledges to fight. I get this right. He's going to fight against state voter integrity laws. Now, how can you fight against voter integrity laws if you're for the voters?
Well, how does he have jurisdiction over that anyway? Because each election is up to the state level. That's why there are different procedures from state to state. The state runs their own elections. So how is it that Garland can come in? Now, of course, there's certain criteria that every state has to follow. But if a state says they want something like, just using it as an example, voter ID, the federal government can't step in and do anything about that. That is a state decision.
Well, that was part of this article. U.S.
I
Attorney Merrick
believe it.
Garland, yeah, he pledged to use the resources of his Justice Department to fight against voter IDs and other state level laws that protect the integrity of the ballot process. Now, here's the kicker, which he claims to seek disadvantage to minorities. This is where it goes. They're trying to buy a black vote. There is nobody black, brown, red, green that cannot go out and get an ID. I don't care who you are. They don't tell you no because of your skin color.
No.
And I'm so sick and tired of the race card being thrown in every time you turn around. And that Letitia James in New York, they're trying to use the race card. That judge said that they booed her because she's black, not because she's a shitty DA, but he's throwing a race card. Now he's taking a lot of heat for it, and he should, because nobody booed her because of her skin color. They booed her because she's a piece of shit.
Yeah, right. And this is why the Democrats are losing the black vote, because this is the message that they have been doing for years. Their message is that black people are too stupid to go get their ID. That is the Democrat message. And of course, we all know that this is not true. And black people are tired of being on the Democrat plantation. That is why Trump is thriving. He is doing tremendous among black voters and non-white voters, because black America is sick of the game. This is the message that I've been talking about during many of our live streams. The black community is leaving the Democrat Party because they're tired of being talked down to. And this is what they do. There was actually a study done recently. I forget what school it was, but it was one of these prestigious schools that was conducting a study to see how conservatives talk to minorities, particularly black and Latinos, and how white liberals talk to blacks and Latinos. And what they found was, with the white liberals really dumbed down their language when talking to black people or Latinos. And conservatives don't do that at all. They don't dumb down their language at all. This is what the left thinks of non-white people. They think they're too stupid. They think they're unable to survive without white people's help. And this is the message that black people are tired of. That is why they're leaving, and they are supporting Donald Trump.
Well, you can't blame them, because
no,
it's not only that, it's these social media sites too. And I opened a TikTok site just so we could start streaming to TikTok, to find out we can't through Rumble Studios. But
yeah, I wouldn't think we could.
No, but I put a video on there, and here it is in front of you. And it's called "What's at Stake in This Election Year?" And it's about all the elections and what was in stake for us if we lose this election. Now, first I put in there that the U.S. debt is ridden under Joe Biden since 2021, over $8 trillion. And these idiot people, liberals out there, want to believe otherwise. Joe Biden has put more than any other president on the deficit. So if you look at this icon on here, and I don't want to go through everything for you, but go back to my Rumble page and look at this video. TikTok took it down. I had to appeal the process because they said it violated their community standards. And I told them, how the hell does it violates the community standards when I got it on every social media site out there and nobody has a problem with it. It's telling people the truth. If we don't vote Republican, what's going to happen? And it's not a good thing. So finally, I appealed it, and they put it back on. But it's a shame that I had to go to that length over telling people the facts of this election, because we already know what's happening, and it's just going to get worse if Joe Biden and the Democrats control power after November.
Yeah, I really believe that we are completely finished if Joe Biden or any of the Democrats, whoever they put forward, remain in power. This truly is a cancer in the country, and it needs to be destroyed now. As I've said before, you cannot reconcile with evil. Evil can only be destroyed, and what we are seeing now is evil. Just look at the demonic agenda that these people have done. I mean, for Christ's sake, we couldn't even have Easter the other day, just Easter to ourselves, the holiest holiday within the Christian faith. They had to do Trans Day of Visibility or wherever the hell their made-up holiday is. Meanwhile, the Pride Mafia, they have 145 days total throughout the calendar year where they can be recognized in their fictitious identities. This is demonic, what is happening. This is a spiritual holy war.
You're right. And here's, if you can see that, it's real small, and I tried to blow it up, as this is where Biden made his announcement about the trans rights, human rights day, and the trans right day on Easter. But then it goes as far as him stating that he did not do that. And here's Biden bizarrely denies declaring Easter Sunday Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, he did that on his own, but now people are wondering if somebody did that without his permission.
Well, it's not far-fetched to think that, because this guy is not in control. He's a puppet. But, it's kind of hard to make that argument when, he put it out. Everybody you go on Twitter right now, it's all over the place of him declaring it that it is Transgender Visibility Day. It's a statement from the White House. You go on whitehouse.gov and see it. And if you go on all the White House social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, they actually posted on Easter Sunday, Happy Transgender Visibility Day. So how can you make the argument? And they reluctantly put Happy Easter as well. I'm sure they felt enough pressure they had to put that out there. But the point is, they put Transgender Visibility Day on all their social media. You have people from Biden's team making videos celebrating Transgender Visibility Day on Easter, by the way. So it's kind of hard to stick to that argument that you did not declare this fictitious holiday.
That's for sure. And then you got Trump, of course, that goes straight into him and bashes him for it, because he said this is an assault on Christian faith. So Trump campaign blasted Biden declaring Easter the Transgender Day of Visibility. He just declared a mental illness day is what he did.
Yeah, and that's just
what it's about.
And it's such a ridiculous title, too, Transgender Visibility Day. Like, we don't see these freaking people everywhere we look. They slip it into everything. And I want to be clear when I say this. I did a video about this yesterday, attacking the LGBTQ movement. This is not against gay people. This isn't even against trans people. The majority of gay and trans people are not okay with what has happened with the LGBTQ mafia. They are appalled to see that this movement that they helped start, that was originally intended for equal rights, that I think that most of us could agree with. Gay people shouldn't be discriminated against, of course. I think that's something that we could all agree on. But this movement that was originally for equal rights has been hijacked to sexualize children and normalize pedophilia. They even have a new name for pedophiles. They're calling them MAPs, minor attracted persons. And as I said, I did a video on this yesterday. I highly recommend people go watch it. Some of the subject matter in there is disturbing, but I think it's important to watch, because this is what the new LGBTQ, whatever the hell the rest of the letters are, movement is all about now. It really is evil. It's demonic, and it needs to be destroyed as it is today.
Oh, you better believe it. I'm getting sick and tired of all this stuff, and then think people that needs to be treated special because of being gay. Mm-hmm. I believe these trans people need mental help.
Yeah, it's definitely a mental disease that needs to be addressed instead of affirmed, like we have continued to do. And it's that's not good for that individual either when you think about it. But what we are seeing now is a fringe minority in that particular group that is completely taken over a movement that was originally started just for the purpose of equality. As I said, that is not at all what the movement stands for today, and it needs to be destroyed. And you think about it, if we destroy that movement as it stands today, that is actually doing a great service to the gay community, because many of these gay people, I'm sure, do not want to be lumped in with these people. You know, you've heard of the group, I'm sure, called Gays Against Groomers. It's a organization that consists of gay and trans people that are fighting against the grooming of children within the alphabet mafia. You know, and I think that is the majority of the gay community. They agree that pedophilia is wrong. They don't want to involve kids. They just want to be treated equally and left alone. And so by destroying this movement, the LGBTQ movement as it stands today, that is a great service to the gay community, but they don't want anyone to say that, because first off, too many people are afraid to say it because they're afraid of being labeled homophobic or transphobic or whatever other buzzword the left throws out there. But we need to have conversations like this because we all need to get together and fight this evil force. And this goes for everything. This is even beyond that movement. This is for politics in general. This is for saving our country in general. We need to start having a conversation with people.
Well, the big reason is too, we got to get this election. We got to get through this election, because people are sitting there, and I'm so sick and tired of fighting with these idiot liberals. And during the funeral for that New York cop, Fox had a reporter on the streets over at the Biden dinner that they were hosting, and he was talking to the people there about Joe Biden and who they'd vote for and all this stuff. And these idiot people are sitting there saying Joe Biden's doing great, Joe Biden's perfect, and he's not. There's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. But I'll tell you what he's done in the first, well, just with the border alone, he should have been impeached for that. But because of the weakness of this Republican Party right now, nothing's getting done. They don't want to play dirty, like the Democrats do. Well, there's a fine line between, okay, we're going to follow the law, but you're not holding nobody accountable. So these people kept running their mouths. And of course, the journalist, he wasn't going to say anything back to him about being wrong. They just let him carry on. And of course, there were all these rich people that could afford $250,000 a plate. But that alone, these people in New York, and the journalist did ask him, what about the crime? And she goes, what crime? There is no crime. They're sitting up in their pearl ivory towers, guarded by gates and everything. They don't go out where the crime is, which murder rates up to the highest level where it is. They think all the crime, and that was one thing that they did put out. All the liberal news, fake news media are saying crime is down. 32% murders down. The problem with this is that there is over 6,500 and some law enforcement agencies, all in Democrat-run cities, not reporting their crimes. So there's where they get that crime is down, because they are not reporting all the crimes that's going on across this country to make Joe Biden look good. So there you go with the fake news. Then you have all these liberals on here going, well, why has there only been fake news since Trump started it? It's not Trump that started the fake news phrase. It was the liberal media saying Trump was having fake news. That's where it started from. So I'm sick and tired of the liberals sitting there saying that Trump started this fake news bullshit when it wasn't it. It was the fake news liberal media people that started that. Trump just kicked it back on them.
Yeah, and I think the people of New York would of New York City would strongly disagree that crime is down. If you ask the guy that was pushed onto the subway, or you ask the people that were riding on the subway where some lunatic opened fire on the entire crowd, or you ask the women that have been on TikTok recently telling their story about how they were just randomly punched in the face walking down the street. It's
Multiple
just
ones.
you can't, and they interview people in New York every day. Uh, if you watch semi-conservative outlets, because even Fox has them on, and I don't consider Fox a conservative outlet, but even if you watch Fox, they interview a ton of people, regular people in New York City, and they're saying crime is out of control. Who are you going to believe, the people of New York or the numbers that they're apparently not reporting?
That's for sure. Now, I forgot
There's
to tell you
there's
that,
no way.
oops, hold on a second. That Florida has got they did put a reproduction thing on their ballot for November, because they did sign it in stating that to ban 6 weeks of abortion. And these Democrats are throwing a fit about it because they're not allowed to murder somebody right out of the womb after 9 months. They're on there right now. They're complaining about it now from Florida. I just wanted to let you guys know about that.
Yeah, honestly, this is another thing that I'm getting sick and tired of hearing. Like, if you go on Twitter and you see all the Democrat politicians, their posts on Twitter, it's always about abortion. You hear people talking, they're Democrats. It's always about abortion. That is Biden's main message. Now, first off, Trump is not talking about banning abortion completely. There's nobody, as far as I know, it's talking about banning abortion completely. What we're saying is you can't use abortion as a form of birth control because you were irresponsible and had unprotected sex with somebody, and you don't want to be a mother. And it's awfully hypocritical, and this is why I can't stand listening to a feminist. As men, we're told growing up, if you're not ready to be a father, don't have sex. Well, why doesn't that apply to women? Why doesn't
Mm-hmm.
that same rule apply to women? If you're not ready to be a mother, don't lay down and make a baby. I understand the argument for rape and life of the mother and incest. I'm not arguing that point. My point is we just don't want it to be where people are using it as a form of birth control. What is so wrong with that message? We act like we care so much about kids. They'll back to the trans movement. They say that we have to affirm kids' gender if they think if they're a boy and they think they're a girl, because we're so worried about suicide. But we're all for abortion up to the last minute. It's like, how do you make this argument? It's just, and honestly, if that is your main concern, is whether you can get an abortion last minute over the shitstorm that we have been through since this idiot was installed into the White House, that you are a special kind of stupid, and I hope you pack up and leave the country as soon as Donald John Trump is sworn in as the 47th president of the United States.
They're sitting there trying to say that abortion is health care.
It's not health care.
It's not health care. You can walk into any hospital, any doctor's office, and if you don't have insurance, go to welfare. If you don't have a job that's going to pay you enough for health care or benefits, go to welfare and get welfare.
Yeah,
because they're taken everywhere.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't understand why that message is so controversial. Like, we're just saying we don't want anyone killing their unborn child without a legitimate reason for doing so. If you're raped, okay, I understand. If it's for the life of the mother, okay, I understand. Why is it just saying that we don't want you using it as a form of birth control? Why is that so controversial? I don't understand that for the life of me. I cannot wrap my head around that.
Well,
It's the dumbest issue to get upset about. It really is.
Well, they also want to bring race into that too, saying
Yeah, of course.
Black people don't have the hospitals or doctors care for them around. That's bunch of bullshit.
Is
It's
bullshit.
every time you turn around, it's about race. They always want to throw that race in your face. That's bullshit. Nobody's being deprived of anything in this country.
No.
And if we don't get out and vote Republican, we're all going to be deprived of every freedom that we've ever had since we were born. And that's why we're doing these videos.
And there's a reason why they're running on that message alone, because they have nothing else to run on. Everything Biden has done since he's been in has been shit. There's nothing he could possibly run on.
He's got a total, complete failure. He's been a complete failure his whole political career. Now we even have some Democrats. A Democrat memo says that new voter push could help Trump. Democrats reportedly are becoming more concerned that voter registration efforts aimed at minority voters and young people could benefit former President Donald Trump in this year's general election. An influential data scientist who helps direct progressive spending at Open Labs ignited private disagreements among major Democrat donors after sending a memo challenging past voter registration efforts. So even the Democrats, some of the Democrats, are getting worried. They're all worried because Joe Biden's numbers are in the pits and they're making stuff up now. And go ahead.
Yeah, they're definitely afraid. You could see that. That's the whole reason they called in Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, because they're trying to reignite the old Bill Clinton and Barack Obama voters. But what is funny is a large portion of the people that voted for Bill Clinton and Barack Obama are now voting Trump. They voted Trump the last two times he ran. They're now part of the MAGA base. So who they are trying to fire up to vote for Biden, I have no idea. Honestly, I do not see any way that this guy wins as long as we show up and vote. You know, for many reasons, but the most recent reason that I am seeing is Biden has pissed off a lot of the left because of his stance on the Israel-Hamas war. Now, I certainly don't agree with what these leftist idiots are standing for. I support Israel, of course, but this is a large portion of the Democrat voting base that is in support of Hamas, or Gaza, as they say, but really they're supporting Hamas. They don't like Biden's stance on that. So I think a lot of them, believe it or not, are either going to sit out this election or they're going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr., because this is something that people need to understand. There is no scenario where Robert Kennedy Jr. becomes president this election. The only question that remains is who is he going to take more votes away from? And so far, he's taken more votes away from Biden. Now, of course, that could change, but I think it's going to stay Biden for this reason. Because of his VP pick. She is a former MSNBC contributor, very friendly with the Obamas. I don't see many of the independent voters that lean more right voting for RFK just because of his VP pick. So you're going to have more leftist voters that weren't going to vote for Trump anyway, voting for RFK because they don't want Biden, because Biden's a loser and they recognize that. So they're going to go vote for RFK and hope that he beats Trump, but he's not going to beat Trump. It's just going to take votes away from Biden, and it's going to make Trump's margin of victory even larger.
Oh, better believe it, because the Democrats are so worried that you guys remember the Russian collusion back in 2016. Now, I thought this would wait a little closer to the time November election comes around, but the Democrats have already started their take two of Russian collusion, but this time it's with the Chinese. Now they're claiming that China's advancing efforts to influence the United States election raises alarms. Now, this is just Russian 2.0 collusion. Now, but they've run out of Russian excuses, so they're using China. Covert Chinese accounts are masquerading online as American supporters of former President Donald Trump, promoting conspiracy theories which there is no conspiracy theories, they're all facts, stoking domestic division and attacking President Biden ahead of election in November, according to researchers and government officials. The accounts signal a potential tactical shift in how Beijing aims to influence American politics, with more of willingness to target specific candidates and parties, including Joe Biden. Now they're playing Joe Biden as a victim here. And it's just starting. This is so pathetic, and it just shows how scared these Democrats are. And we have to keep them this way, because this is something that we cannot let up on. And that's why Brendan and I are doing these videos, because we're trying to keep people informed of what's going on and what these Democrats are doing, because they will stoop at nothing to win an election, to steal an election. They can't win it fairly, or they wouldn't be doing crap like this.
So I want to direct the attention to the chat for a minute. I think this is Harold that put this on here. Do the math on the $250K a plate and $26 million in donations for Butt White Biden the other night. So what is that? A little over 100 people in attendance. If 250 a plate, and that's not that much. That's not that many people.
No, actually, it's not.
One surprise, and they were probably all DNC donors, and probably even some of the press, because we know how cozy all of them are.
And if you could afford $250,000 parades, you probably got private security, you probably got fences around your house.
Yeah, right.
And you don't watch the news, so you don't have to worry about the crime that is being committed. And it's every single day. I don't care what day you look at. You hear about another migrant, another illegal criminals committing a crime. ICE just went and chased down one and got one today. But almost every Democratic state is forbidding to give ICE any information on these criminals. And when an illegal criminal is arrested by a state, a Democrat state now get you, they are released without ICE being notified to come and get them, to deport them. No Democrat, and these are not upstanding people that are coming into our country. And if you idiots think otherwise, because you see a couple kids and a couple of women walking through our fences, you're out of your damn mind. These people are criminals. They are people that were released from mental institution and prisons that they closed because they were overpopulated. So they released them into our country so they wouldn't be a burden on them.
And a lot of times when you see women and children, it is, not all the time, of course. There probably are some legit families coming over. They're just taking advantage of the opportunity, even though it is illegal. But most of the time when you see women and children, it is sex trafficking. Watch the Sound of Freedom movie that came out last year. This is the stuff that really happens. And this is why the border needs to be closed down. It's more than just the obvious threat of a terrorist attack. It is the fact that there are young kids and women being raped by the cartel to get into the country and are being sex trafficked. You watch independent journalists that go to the border. They're finding used condoms along the way, women's panties just thrown wherever. It's just this is the stuff that is happening. This is the stuff that Joe Biden and the Democrats have created. We want to talk about women's rights and all this stuff, celebrate women. Well, where the hell are all the feminists on this? We want to act like we care so much about children. Remember that documentary that just came out on HBO Max, Quiet on Set, that talks about the abuse of kids on the set of Nickelodeon behind the scenes. But we'll be outraged by that. But we'll completely ignore this that is happening right in front of our face every single day, where kids are being sex trafficked. It's just liberal logic. It is a mental disorder.
The new thing with the border is Biden's border bloodbath. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now.
What
And
it is.
Trump's going to use that too. But here we got, no, you won't see my face, but Biden was planning to use executive action on the border. But since then, he's gone silent. So now he was just appeasing people for votes, telling them, well, I'm going to take care of this. We'll do it. And all of a sudden, because everybody heard it and they believed him, so he stopped. But I've got something here on the border, and comes from our down under people, showing that this illegal criminal talking to people about the border. Now, I want you to listen to this idiot.
Now let's look at how illegal immigrants in the US are capitalising on the leftist laws in blue states and educating others to do the same.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States, ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
So you remember this guy, and he was arrested, but eventually he was released. Now, this is one of the hundreds of thousands and millions of these people, these criminals that have crossed into our country, telling other ones how to steal your house. If you're not living in it, they're going to sit there and the cops won't do a thing to them. But now, if you're in Florida, because Governor DeSantis signed a law giving rights to the owners, which in my case, if I had a house that somebody was squatting in, there wouldn't be police involved.
No, I've said the same thing. And, it's just ridiculous that a governor like DeSantis even has to sign this into law. Like, why is this even a dispute? You're coming into a house that is not yours. Why do they have any right to stay there? Why? They say because there's no trespassing sign. Like, Jesus Christ, the world has gone completely nuts. This lady in New York was just arrested last week because there was a squatter in her home while she was on vacation, came back and found him. She kicked him out, and they treated it like an eviction notice. They said that she had to give him notice. She had to give him an extended period of time to move out. He shouldn't be there to begin with. And one other lady, I forget what state this was in, actually went into her house while she was on vacation, had a yard sale, sold many of her appliances, and left her house garbage all over the floor, everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. We have gone beyond crazy.
Well, I went through this on one of my houses that I bought, and there was people still living in it, but the owner lived in Ohio, and he told them to get out because they weren't paying him rent and they weren't paying the taxes. So I go and I buy the house on taxes, and the people wouldn't leave. I had to go to court and evict these people, even though they were not tenants of mine. They were living there illegally. They were living there with no heat. They were living there with 12 cats, 4 dogs, no litter box. They were living in a drop ceiling in the top, and their litter box was their basement. I fought for 4 months, and eventually these people got up and they left after I paid a lot of money to the courts to try to get them evicted. And when they left me a $2,000 electric bill, rotted floors, a basement with I'll bet you 4 inches of cat feces, and probably some of it was human feces because their sewage line broke and they didn't work. The sewage wasn't even pumping out of the house. So this is the kind of stuff that you deal with when you buy rental properties. And if you don't have them loaded and these people go in there, they can, and now in Pennsylvania, it says if they can prove that they've done upgrades to the house and repairs, that there's where your squatter rights that start. But they have to show fixing the house up and maintaining it. Well, half these houses that I've seen that these illegal immigrants have done are destroyed, like Brendan said. So they do have too many rights. They shouldn't have any rights at all because it's theft.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Plain and
It's
simple.
It's just can you believe some of the stuff we talk about? It's just like I never thought, even in my young life, I'm only 24. I would have never thought some of the stuff we talk about on here would ever be a topic of discussion. It's just, like the squatters. It's like you go into somebody's house, like, how the hell are they not charged with burglary? Like, where the hell is that charge?
Exactly
It's just
right.
it makes no sense. This is the Democrat Party because this only happens in blue areas. This is not happening. I guarantee you, this is not happening in Florida, Montana, Alaska, Texas. I guarantee you, none of that stuff is happening in those states.
Well, almost everything that we talk about here and the things that have gone wrong or that other states are seeing wrong, almost 99% of these are in Democrat run states.
Yep.
And people can't see this. And you go around, you look at Republican states, you don't hear about all this stuff. You don't hear of the crime like that. You only hear of it in like California. And now it's just getting worse because starting yesterday, they went to $20 minimum wage.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. For fast food workers for the whole state. Oh, yeah. So if you idiot liberals want to make money, move to California. Every one of you, pack up and get the hell out.
You ain't gonna make shit there.
No,
No.
because what they did was they're going to force these fast food companies to go automated, just like McDonald's have already started. So you're going to put people out of jobs because they showed one, and I didn't get this early enough either. They showed one fast food company from March 29th. They showed the prices on the menu board. Then they showed April 1st when this started. And the prices went up on every item when this started. So this is what you're causing. And they wonder why California is so expensive to live. Well, who the hell would want a liberal idiot state like that?
No, and that's just a few of the aspects. Like you said, not only will things will they hire robots so they don't have to pay people $20 an hour, and they're trying to do this here in Pennsylvania. By the way, I see our lovely governor, the 3-foot dwarf Josh Shapiro, has been pushing much like Tom Wolf did when he was governor for $15 an hour minimum wage here in Pennsylvania. People do not understand what raising the minimum wage to that level would bring, especially in a state where we're already raped by taxes. You know, like you said, there's that aspect that you're not going to be able to get a job because everybody's just going to go robots. But it's also the aspect you're not going to be able to afford to pay for shit because you give everyone more money. It's more taxes. It devalues the dollar. You were going to pay $15 for a gallon of milk. You were going to pay near $20 a gallon for gasoline if it goes up to $15 an hour. California is completely screwed. I bet just about everybody leaves that state because nobody is going to be able to afford to live there. They're much like Pennsylvania, actually a little worse. They're already raped on taxes and can't afford anything. This is going to drive everybody out of California. Raising the minimum wage to that extent is a terrible idea. The minimum wage was never meant to be a livable wage. It is, and when you think about it, it completely destroys the initiative of people. People don't want to go and do anything other than flip burgers if they can make $15-20 an hour doing it. So now you have people quit jobs that really matter, like police officers, and even teachers to teach kids, quitting their jobs and going and working jobs like Giant Eagle or McDonald's, whatever, because they're making $20 an hour or 15, whatever it is, doing that job. It's just, and meanwhile, you can't afford anything. You think that somebody that already has a good paying job, their wage is going to go up just because the minimum wage did? That it's not going to happen. It would completely cripple the middle class. The only businesses that would survive are the big corporations like Walmart and Amazon and so on and so forth. It would completely crush mom and pop shops. That it would be absolutely fatal.
Yeah, this is why we do these live streams for the elections, because this is the kind of stuff that nobody hears about. And we have to watch a lot of idiot liberal news stations to get a lot of this information. Boy, is that brain numbing, boy. And
Oh yeah.
that's why we're bringing it to you, because I found one today that I don't know. I didn't get to read the article yet, but Joe Biden was going to sign a measure allowing Newsom in California to ban every gas-powered vehicle in California by 2030. I don't know why Joe Biden would have to sign this, but Trump said that if he does that on day one, he would eliminate that. And of course, he was talking about, and you probably saw it when you were watching it, he was eliminating everything that Joe Biden has done, because that is the reason why we're in the shit show that we are right now, because Title 42 was changed because of Joe Biden on day one. Joe Biden did these actions, stopping construction of the border wall, attempting to hold deportation for 100 days, suspending new enrollments of migrants, and the Remain in Mexico policy. He did away with all that stuff on day one. And this is why we're in the shape that this country's in. That's why we do these videos, to get you guys out the truth, because the Democrats are trying everything that they can. They're even spreading a rumor now that Donald Trump was criminally prosecuted for taking out a loan and repaying it. Well, that was fact checked. That is a lie. Donald Trump was not criminally prosecuted for taking out a loan and repaying it. That's been fact checked. So if you idiot liberals want to keep spreading this bullshit, educate yourself, because you sound like idiots. Well, you are idiots because you vote for Joe Biden. So
they can't educate themselves. It's a mental disorder. You know, these people, like I said, they have zero critical thinking skills. Believe me, I argue with plenty of them on social media. Sometimes I don't even know why I waste my time. I guess because it's so fun. But anyway, you know, all they know to do is parrot. They just parrot what they hear on TV. They're not very smart people. That's just all there is to it. You know, the people that still back Biden, that are still anti-Trump, you know, just for the sake of being anti-Trump, they're not smart people. There is no convincing them. If you have not pulled your head clean out of your ass to this point, you never will. And like I said before, I really hope every one of these people holds true to the threats they made in the past. I hope they pack up and leave as soon as Trump is sworn in as the next president. And I mean that 100%. We don't want you here.
you're exactly right. I think, was that Gary?
Who's Gary?
That one of that tape.
Oh, no,
Harold.
That's Harold.
Harold. You're right, Harold.
We have Harold and Steven.
Yeah, oh, that's right, Steven. That's right. And you're exactly right, because skilled workers that actually went to school for like welding and ironworking and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
making that kind of money doing the job that they're making, but you're going to give this to somebody that got a GED to flip burgers at McDonald's. You're going to give them $20 an hour. I believe in a fair wage, but you do not. How do I want to say it? You do not. Shit, I don't even know what I want to say now. But you're going to give somebody money for doing something for nothing.
Well, what they want to do, like I said, and this is kind of what he's saying, is take away the initiative, so you don't go get a skilled job. You don't do, you know, like ironworking, like you said, or welders, or even coal miners. You know, these type of jobs. So, like I said, nobody's going to be able to afford to live no matter what job you have. So what do they do then? They can institute more government assistant programs.
Don't move to California where you can't afford to live because everything's so high out there. Don't move there.
Yeah, I fear that that's what's going to happen here in Pennsylvania because unfortunately we are almost completely Democrat controlled, and that is going to destroy this whole area. If we
Oh,
go up to $15 an hour minimum wage, we're all completely screwed in this area if that happens. Hopefully that does not happen.
well,
We'll have to pack up and move to West Virginia probably if that happens.
well, where we
Sure.
live, one of the last remaining coal mines have shut down right now.
Yep.
And then and that was one of our money makers in the county we live in. And I just heard the other day about them shutting down, and they're blaming the methane gas. And the union is asking them, all right, let's have a meeting to discuss this. And the administration is refusing to do it. So they have laid off all their miners. And so now what are they supposed to do? They're just supposed to sit back and collect unemployment when there's a perfectly good coal mine because the corporation doesn't want to run it anymore. So they use an excuse to shut it down. It's
It's terrible. It really is because that really is the majority of this area. It is all coal. It's all oil field. That's this whole area. You know, this war on coal and the war on oil and gas, it is completely crippling this area. And it's very sad to see because this was an area that was once thriving. And
boom.
now it's honestly sad to see what it's become. It's terrible. And it's all because of not only, I can't completely blame it on Democrats because there are plenty of Republicans here at the local level here in Greene County that have completely screwed us over. Plenty of them that have completely screwed us over that need to answer for what they have done.
The issue with the coal mines, though, is that the Democrats in Washington are pushing this bullshit climate change stuff, and nobody's wanting to buy coal because they're putting so many regulations on them that they can't afford to do these regulations. And this is what Trump did away with when he got in 2016. He did away with all these bullshit regulations because coal is a natural burning coal. What do you call it? I'm having brain farts today, but it's naturally burning. They even have clean coal, and it's just as like natural gas. And Biden is pushing for this solar and green energy bullshit, and it is not feasible to have that. You cannot run 100% off of this green energy. We don't have the infrastructure to do it.
No, you can't. And that's just the whole thing. They're phasing into this just for the sake of crippling the middle class. This is not incompetence, as I say over and over again. They want to cripple the middle class. That is why they are doing what they are doing. That is why they're going after coal, because they don't want us to be energy independent. They want people to be laid off. They want people laid off, living off the government dime, and they want to make countries like China rich. That's the whole objective.
And I was talking to you guys about the video that TikTok removed from me. Now there's the cover for it. You go onto my Rumble page, a Country Conservative, and I want you to look at this because I'm going to read you some of the rights that we're going to lose with this election if we do not get this thing going. And this is the video. Sorry about that. That is the video that got removed from TikTok, and I eventually got it put back on. But first, we're going to talk about your financial freedom, the privacy of what your money, that all the money that you have in your bank account. It's no longer going to be your private money because Joe Biden is pushing for a digital currency. If that happens, because right now we've got China, and it's called the BRICS. And let me find out where I put it now. The BRICS nation has been formed, comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and as many as 40 different countries have expressed interest in joining the BRICS to ruin the US dollar. Now, if you guys have $1 million in your savings account, if these countries are successful in creating their own dollar, that will ruin the US dollar. We will see a recession,
Oh, yeah.
a depression like you have never seen. And that $1 million in your bank account might be worth 100,000, maybe, if you're lucky. But this is one of the things, and nothing you have is going to be private anymore. Because if the digital dollar goes through, the US government will have control of your accounts. They will look at every penny that you spend. And if they don't like what they see in there that you spent, will have the authority to freeze your account at any given minute. They don't
Yep.
need to get permission. They won't need anything. All they can do is freeze your accounts because they didn't like something that they saw on your account. This
Yeah.
is why I tell you about this video of mine. Go watch it because this is one. And what is the other one here? We got, yeah, that's going to be stripped. And your savings, the freedom of speech, that's already under. And this is all in this video. The right to due process, which has been taken out and has already started with the January 6th defendants. That's already started. And there's so much more. Go check that video out and you'll see what I mean. And you can tell me why that TikTok would remove this if they were afraid to get the truth out of exactly what this video tells you. So go take a look at that.
Yeah, and I just want to play off your what you were saying about the them seizing people's money and stuff like this, freezing people's accounts. If you guys really think this can happen, you don't have to look any further than Canada, because this is exactly what is happening in Canada right now, where they're freezing people's accounts because of stuff they said on social media. They have regulated every possible thing up in Canada right now. Canada is absolutely terrible. I would not step foot in Canada today. There is no way. I'd probably be arrested if they happen to see me on here. I'm probably on the terrorist watch list in Canada for all I know. That's what is going to happen here if we do not win this election. This is no longer, and I've said this 100 times if I've said it once, and I'm going to keep saying it, this is not Republican versus Democrat anymore. I don't give a shit what party is in power. If all the policies were the same and Donald Trump were a Democrat, I would still be supporting him. People need to quit looking at this as one side against the other, one party against another, because it is not. It is freedom versus tyranny. And you would think the majority of people would get in on this. And what's funny, Charlie? I actually saw this today. As much as we make fun of liberals on this show, there are a lot of liberals that consider themselves left-leaning that are coming out and supporting Trump. There are actually people making shirts that say "liberals for Trump." It's actually crazy to see. I think people are starting to get that concept that this is not Republican versus Democrat. It's not. This is freedom versus tyranny. That is why I say this election is so important. That's why me and Charlie are doing what we do. We don't make any money off this whatsoever. It'd be nice if we did, but we don't. We do this because we understand how important this moment is. And, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging. But I feel pretty confident as long as we all do our job and get out and vote, we are going to win in a landslide, and we are going to take this country back.
Most definitely. Well, now we're at 8:04. Now we're looking at trying to find some results here. So hopefully somebody will get me some stuff so we can show you guys. Because of
I got nothing right now. It's just saying awaiting results. That Fox just finally started showing stuff at the bottom of the screen, but it's just saying awaiting results. So I'll let you know as soon as I see something.
I'm at a commercial right now, but Brendan's exactly right. This is stuff that's going on, and this is why we do these videos. It's why we ask you to go to our channels, check them out, follow us, share our videos with your friends and family. We've got to get the truth out there to people. We've got to get them to wake up. These people are so stupid that they don't even see the truth. And trust me, I've even got family members that they lean liberal, but they're not totally liberal, and they're easily manipulated. by what goes on these fake news media. And I don't argue with them. They get a little too old to argue with them. I don't want them having a heart attack. I want them to stick around for a little while. But this is the kind of stuff that we've got to wake them up and see the truth, because everything that we give you on here is factual. We don't base it off of anything else. And it's hard to figure out who's telling the truth anymore, because the Democrats, I don't even think, know what the truth is. Everything that comes out of their mouth has been that they're lies. And we can verify every bit of it. And we can prove to you that these Democrats do nothing but lie. So that's why we do these videos. And hopefully, I want to start next week and doing some more live streams. And hopefully, we're going to do something called Conservative Viewpoint and start doing more so we can get more truth out. We can get more out to you guys by doing live stream than doing our small 5 to 10 minute videos. And that's why we want to do this, because everything's so important. Because we're not telling you that the Republican Party is the best choice. We're not telling you that there is not corruption in the Republican Party, but they are the choice that we have right now to get this country back on track.
Right. And that's the unfortunate thing. You have to pick a side, unfortunately. I'm registered Republican by default, just because they're not as far gone as the Democrat. I register so I could vote in primaries for people that I think are the best choice at that time. If it were up to me, I'd be registered libertarian, because that's what I consider myself more of. I want the least amount of government involvement as possible. That doesn't mean a complete abolition of government. I just want the government to do their job and secure our rights and nothing more. That's my viewpoint. So I consider myself more libertarian, but that's the only reason I register Republican, is so I can still vote in primaries. Both parties suck. I'm just being honest with you guys. Both parties are absolutely terrible. But the Republican Party is the lesser of the evils, and we have a better chance of fixing that party and getting it back to actually serving the people. So that's like I said earlier. If Donald Trump were running right now as a Democrat, same message, same everything, I would still be backing Donald Trump. I really do not care what party is in power. It makes no difference to me. I want the best candidate that is going to truly work for the people and uphold the Constitution. That is all I want.
And Stephen in the chat made a good point. And he says when elections affect people personally, as we have seen in the past few years, they start to get it eventually. And he's right, because I guess it has to kick them in the ass to show them how bad things are going. Because if you're not affected by it, and if you're rich right now and you don't watch news or anything like that, you're not being affected by it.
No. It's the whole. Go ahead.
For me, driving a diesel truck, and the prices are going up so high now, it's going to go back to me charging me $250 to fill my truck up. Now, if you're rich, $250 ain't nothing to you.
Right.
I'm not rich by far, and $250 is a lot to me.
Oh yeah.
This is why when Trump was in office, we had everything down where my diesel truck only cost me $100 to fill it up, because I had a big tank. $100 I can handle. You're talking 2.5 times that, $250. That's ridiculous. And people in the gas vehicles, we were down to $30, $40, $50 to fill up a vehicle, and we go 300-400 miles on a tank. No problem. But now, if you're talking $50, $60, $70 to fill it up, and everything under Joe Biden has went bad. And that's all we've ever seen under this administration is bad.
Yeah, and to respond to Steven's comment, the same one you just pointed out, it's the whole Dan Bongino method. Is it bad enough yet? Well, it's getting there, apparently.
I wish people would wake up and see that it's there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's pretty obvious.
But even with what Stephen just said, if you are not affected by what these illegal criminals do, if they don't murder a family member or assault you personally, you're not going to get it. You're not going to
No.
wake up and see the truth and see that over 13 million illegal criminals in this country are assaulting people, raping kids, child trafficking these kids. Kids are coming up missing, but nobody cares. You don't hear a sound from the liberal idiots out there because these children come up missing and nothing's being done about it. But we know that these people that are coming over here are behind all this. So what's it going to take? It's going to take somebody, like Stephen said, to affect them personally before they say, hey, we got to get these Democrats out of power. And that's what we're doing here. That's why we're on here to do this, guys, for you.
Yep. Trump has been declared the winner in Rhode Island, 5% in. I think Biden was declared the winner in Connecticut, I think it was. I caught it last second, so I got to wait for that to come back through. But Trump has won Rhode Island, 8% of the vote, and Trump's at 84.5. Other is 15.5%.
The one I'm watching on Fox is
Biden won
they're
Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
Connecticut.
The Connecticut one, they're talking to the stupid Democrat governor there.
Yeah.
And they're not showing anything on the one I'm looking at. But
Trump also won Connecticut, by the way. So
oh, did he? Okay,
yeah, they already declared him.
Okay, now they're showing it up. Now they're showing the Democrat side, but they're not got no numbers for Biden. They've also got Marianne Williamson on there. Then they got uncommitted in Connecticut, but they're not showing any numbers yet.
Yeah, and I just want to point this out to everybody real quick. We say this, law, especially since Trump's the only one on the ballot. Of course, we know that Trump and Biden are going to be declared the winner on every one of these races. But the important thing to look for is the vote total for
numbers.
Both candidates. That will show you which way everything's going. If Biden's getting less votes than he did back in 2020, of course that's bad for him. If Trump's doing better than he did in 2020 and even 16, if you want to go back that far, then it's very good for Trump. We're not going to get a total vote count tonight, of course, because this whole process takes way longer than it should. But those are the important things to look for with this when it's all said and done.
And also with the numbers, we get the total numbers and seeing how many people are getting out to vote. Because a lot of people are sitting there going, it's not important that they get enough vote. It is important because come November, if you only had 100,000 vote in the state for Donald Trump, and he still won because he's the only one on the ballot, we need to triple or quadruple that number.
Right.
Come November, because it's not a way to sit back and just say, okay, I don't need to go today because he's already won the nominee. No. Well, that's not true. We need those numbers. We need to see the people out there, the people that are still backing Donald Trump.
Right. And this is another thing that I want to say to people. Yes, Donald Trump already has the nomination, but you still need to go out and vote for him for a couple reasons. One, it's sending a message to the deep state that you're still backing Donald Trump. And two, the president is not the only one on the ballot. There are many other very important elections that are going to be on this ballot, local elections, as well as we have a U.S. Senate election here in Pennsylvania, very important Senate election. There are plenty of important elections on this ballot coming up. We have important elections at the state level and the federal level. So do not sit home, because our problems are not just because of who is in the White House. It goes well beyond that. So do not sit home. Go out and vote. You cannot sit home.
Usually we have a lot more stations that cover the election.
Yeah.
And I don't even see Newsmax on here covering it, and usually they do.
Yeah, Fox just went to commercial. MSNBC's not showing anything. Let me see. You said Newsmax isn't showing any. Newsmax has some numbers up now. Their shit
I'm not
goes
even
quick
seeing
now.
Newsmax. I'm not even seeing Newsmax on for some reason. And usually I have them all on here, but I can't figure out any of these why they're not on here. I'm sure you can see.
53 uncommitted people in the Democrat primary in Connecticut voted against Biden. So that's another number to look out for, is the uncommitted votes for both parties, not just the Democrat. But wow. Rhode Island, 331 uncommitted voted
Nice,
against Biden.
nice.
Rhode Island, only 92 voted for Haley, and I miss Trump's number. That
Yeah, this,
Newsmax goes too damn quick.
these elections are not just about the vote and getting Trump back in, because we have a lot more dangerous situations going on right now because of the threats from ISIS that are going on. And we got the threats from the FBI, and I am no fan of the FBI director, Christopher Wray. But we also got a retired General McKenzie that the ISIS attack threat is growing. This is the kind of stuff that we have here that needs to be taken care of. And it's not going to be taken care of with Joe Biden.
No.
Joe Biden is the weakest, softest, idiotic president that we have ever seen. All he's worried about is sniffing kids and filling up women and padding his pockets. That's all he's worried about.
And ice cream. And ice cream.
And ice cream. You got that right. And that's why we've got to get this taken care of, because the threat is so bad out there. We got Russia threatening nuclear war. You got China trying to invade Taiwan. They're trying to take over and invade our country, which all these 24,000 Chinamen that's coming across here, all military age, with China having bought hundreds of thousands of acres of land, and not the government will not check on them to see what they're doing. This is the kind of stuff that you've got to be worried about. This is the kind of stuff that if you go into a restaurant in a city, and of course some of these threats are saying that could happen this month of Ramadan. If you go into a restaurant in the city, make sure you keep your back to the front door. Know where your exits are, because they say these are the kind of areas that these jihadists, that you're not allowed to say jihadist anymore because you've got to be political correct. Well, kiss my ass. They are terrorists. I don't care what you say, but you got to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. When I was still at the prison, that's the one thing that they did stress to us, is make sure you're aware of your surroundings, because an inmate would take you out in a heartbeat if you're not paying attention. You always have to have your head on a swivel. And they were right, because I was attacked a couple of times. And you have to be aware of what's going on around you, being at the prison or being out on the streets in the cities, in the big cities. But almost anywhere now, people are getting mugged in the gas station. They're getting their car jacked at the gas stations. While you're filling up gas, they're jumping in your car and taking off. This is the kind of stuff that we're trying to prevent with this election. We've got to get law and order back in this country. And with the Democrats being the lawless party that they are, we're not going to do that with them in power. That's why we tell you on every time we stream, vote Republican, not saying they're the total answer for the problem, but they will get us back on track to where we need to be. After we get Donald Trump elected and back in there, we'll work on the next 4 years after Trump is done, after his next 4 years. Then we'll work on who's going to be there.
So here's a number I want to throw out for Rhode Island, 36% of the votes. And for the uncommitted number, 1,569 votes against Biden. Biden has 7,170. he was declared the winner, but that seems like a pretty big number voting against him, voting for nobody in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I wish I would. Oh, yeah. I didn't tell you guys about this. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Yesterday was April Fool's Day, right? So I get this
They should
text
move it
from,
to they should move it to President's Day now.
yeah, I get this text from Trump. Where did it go? Doggone it. Yeah, I just had it up here. And then the text said that I have suspended my campaign. And you just look at that right off the bat without opening up the link, and you about shit yourself. And of course, she said it was April Fool's. He said, "Do you think I would ever suspend his campaign?" You know, I about died when I saw that. And then I text, there it is. Yeah, he said, "I'm suspending my campaign." And then you have to read the confidential memo. And then I put, "That's not funny." And at least we got a president with a sense of humor, except for one
Yeah.
that don't even have a sense. And that was just a trip yesterday. I thought I'd like to share that with you. That was hilarious. I am still not finding any numbers. That's upsetting me.
Wisconsin's about to close here very soon. It's saying, it just says soon. I don't know what soon means. Does that mean 8:30? I guess
For who?
Wisconsin. That's what it's saying.
Yeah, because Mississippi should be up too because they closed at 8 Eastern Standard Time.
I haven't seen anything from Mississippi yet.
Wisconsin? No, Wisconsin doesn't close until 9. What are we at? We're at 8:22. That's why they're saying soon. the
I'm about to
polls-
say I'm just going off what Newsmax is saying. I have no idea.
Yeah, polls are open in Wisconsin from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Is New York same time? They close at the same time?
9 o'clock. Yeah, New York closes at
9.
9 o'clock also. And then we'll also, what else we got at 9 o'clock? We got what are you, you're saying Rhode Island's already putting stuff out too?
Yeah, they closed already.
Now, according to this, that they weren't supposed to close until 9 o'clock.
I've seen numbers for
Rhode
Rhode
Island.
Island. Yeah, I think I forget the numbers now. I think they already declared both Trump and Biden the winners in Rhode Island.
Huh.
So
Let me see if I can find my other.
Newsmax went to commercial, so I gotta go to a new outlet. Let's see. It's difficult when hardly anyone's covering this. Yeah, Rhode Island, Trump's declared the winner. Fox is showing right now. So, yeah, they must be closed already.
Huh. Yeah, because I usually have all of mine that come up, and right now they're not coming up at all. And that is tough when you don't see them all that come up. Guys,
No, and
let me know.
I hate when they go to the commercial and they don't show the numbers through the commercial. It's just, I don't know why they wouldn't keep them at the bottom of the screen during commercial. Both Fox and Newsmax. So I got to keep flipping back and forth. It's annoying.
I want to know why. And if anybody out in chat can tell me, if you're on YouTube and you go to live streams and you're looking at the live streams and you look at one because you thought it was like the hearing for Miss Piggy, Fannie Willis, and it said live, but it was not live. It was something that was held a week or two ago, but it still said live on there. Tell me why that is. I emailed YouTube, but I don't know if I'll get an answer back from them or not.
You're supposed to be banned anyway.
Yeah, hey.
They're not responding to you.
Probably
Same with
not.
same with TikTok. TikTok ain't gonna respond to you either. You're supposed to be banned. You were banned.
Oh, I was banned from life from TikTok. I really don't give a shit. I cussed them out because they took down a couple of my other videos, and I call me, and a few choice words I won't use right now on here, but because they're taking out stuff, they banned me for I have an AR-15. It was hanging in the background of my old studio, and they banned me because of that, because I had my AR hanging in the background. But you go let these kids shoot up shit. One girl I saw almost shot her freaking head off, but they let that kind of stuff on there. But you're going to ban me for putting my AR behind me? Get the hell out of here. Any of you guys had any issues with that?
You shouldn't have been on there spreading conspiracy theories, Charlie.
I guess not. So I am looking here.
Got about 5 minutes, I think. Well, we did say 8:30.
Yeah. We got 8.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes.
We've got Arkansas primary. Should be coming out then here fairly soon. And I got some Stephen. I got Fox News primary results on here.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth between Fox and Newsmax. I have Fox on now because Newsmax is on break. So wait and see what we get.
So it's a state here. And we've got Delaware. It's going to be in. They were all canceled, so we're not going to see nothing from them. So we'll get rid of that one. So you guys have seen the weak ass Republican Party that we've been talking about, because all we're seeing is more hearings, more letters being sent out. Now, the other day, Representative Comer to Newsmax, the presidential subpoena still on the table. Well, if it's still on the table, why don't they do it? I'm so sick of everything being, well, we'll see. Well, we can do that, maybe. But they're finding out that it's harder to subpoena a sitting president. Unfortunately, being Joe Biden is a fake sitting president, but it's harder to subpoena him. And all we're seeing every time I get an email from the House Judiciary Committee or Jim Jordan or the House Oversight Committee, we're seeing we're having another hearing, or we're trying to subpoena this person, or we're trying to get this information. The Republican Party are not forceful enough, and that's what I'm sick and tired of waiting on.
No, it really has become a party of losers. And my biggest fear with this is that we're going to end up losing the House, and Democrats are going to keep the Senate because Republicans haven't done anything. And I think that's their whole intention. They want to lose the House, and they don't want to win the Senate because they understand that Donald Trump is going to be president, and they are going to try to stop him through the House and Senate. That's what I really think this comes down to. They're Republicans and Democrats are on the same team. Like we were saying earlier, both parties suck. You know, we could have all the hearings we want. They don't do anything. We all know that these people are corrupt. And I understand that you have to have hearings and expose stuff. But at the same time, there has to be some action behind it too. And there has been zero action from this Congress. It has all been hearings so they could go on Fox News and, you know, repeat what we already know. We know that the Biden family is corrupt. We know that, you know, Joe Biden was pimping Hunter out. We know all this. But instead, this is still the same thing that people like Jim Jordan, who I think is an absolute waste. I used to be a Jim Jordan fan until Republicans took control of Congress. Jim Jordan's an absolute waste. He's terrible. But the people like Jim Jordan could go on Sean Hannity's show every night and repeat the same thing over and over again. This is stuff that we all know. There is all talk, no action. That is the old Republican Party, and it needs to be destroyed as it is. We can't be a party of talk. We have to be a party of action. And right now, we're just a party of talk.
And it's got to come down to a point where the Republicans are just going to have to say, we've got to do something. We have to play on the same field as the Democrats because the Democrats don't care. Democrats got their way of doing things. They're corrupt. They're lawless. And they'll do whatever it takes. That is what the Republicans are going to have to start doing. You don't win by playing softball. And that's what the Republicans are doing. We've got too much going on. We've got too much corruption going on. And we got this one Missouri school has been condemned for honoring the Associated Press Hamas photo of a murderous thugs with a body in their school or in their truck driving down the road. And this school is applauding that photo. Now they should be suspended. They should be taken out because we are getting too much of this stuff. And they awarded this photo for being a good photo, and it's so it drives me nuts. And then we have on Easter pro-Hamas terrorist protesters. Watch this. This is the kind of stuff that we're putting up with because of the Democrat Party. We've got people that are celebrating terrorism, interrupting an Easter Mass because of these idiots. And it just irks me because the Democrat Party allows this stuff to go on. Nobody gets arrested when you celebrate terrorism. And that is what we have to stop by this election. This is why we have to vote Republican, because at least when we have Donald Trump in office, people were starting to respect law enforcement. And right now, they don't care about law enforcement. They attack them at will. They assault them and think they don't have to listen to any law enforcement. And this is what we have to change. This is why, another reason, not the only reason why, that this election is so important. There's so many things that make this election so important. And if you don't believe me, just look around for yourself of why we're doing this, why we keep pushing the Republican Party to take over control. They need to take control of everything, the House and the Senate, because if the Democrats control either one, we will not get anything done.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. You know, like we said before, both parties suck, but we have to make sure that the House and Senate go red. To be honest, here in Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick is the one that's running for U.S. Senate here in Pennsylvania. I'm not a big fan of Dave McCormick, but I'm voting for him because he at least claims to be pro-Trump, and it's all about purging the radical Democrats that are going to go against your interest. A Republican, even a swampy Republican, I'm not saying McCormick is, I'm just using the example, they're going to have a much harder time going against Donald Trump than a Democrat will, because, Donald Trump is the Republican Party now. Republicans have a much harder time going against Donald Trump than a Democrat who can run on going against Trump. Did that make any sense the way I put that?
Yeah.
That's the whole objective. You need to have people that it's going to be easier to persuade them to do what you want them to do, and that is Republicans right now. Like I said, I'm not completely sold on Dave McCormick here in Pennsylvania. You know, I don't absolutely hate him, but you know, I'm not completely sold on him. But I'm definitely voting for him because we got to get rid of the incumbent Democrat Bob Casey here in Pennsylvania.
Well,
You
the
know,
other thing
that's what it comes down to.
I did see today about him. And the thing is, when you're voting for Republican, you're not voting for the person, and you don't fall in love with the person. You fall
That's
in love with the
absolutely right.
outcome. The
That's
outcome of
absolutely
what they
right.
can do. Because Dave McCormick promised to be about energy dominance in Pennsylvania. He cannot
Right.
promise that. I'm sorry. You
Right.
cannot promise something when you're a Republican, when Democrats control.
Right.
And if you have like ours, we have a Democrat governor, and he will not sign anything that a Republican puts forward.
No.
If you don't control both houses of the state, even in a state level, you cannot get anything done. Now, if you control both houses and you put something to the governor's desk and he vetoes it, then you have the majority that can override his veto and put it into law without his vote. That is what's got to happen here, because he did make some promises that I didn't like, and I did put it on his site that you cannot promise stuff like that until we
Right.
know that we have control. And that's what you got to look at when you vote, people. That you got to
Right.
look at. Don't fall in love with the person. Fall in love with the outcome of that person. If they get
Right.
stuff done that we want to get done,
Right.
that's super. That's great. Trump did that for us. He got stuff done
Yeah.
that we wanted to get done. You fall in love with his outcome, not the person.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right, because you know, just about all these people, I don't care what side of the aisle, all these people that hold office or are running for office suck. They're absolutely terrible. They're absolutely terrible. It is all about the ones that you could that you were most likely to persuade to do your desired outcome. And you know, that's what it is. You know, that's our two choices here in Pennsylvania when it comes to the US Senate. We're either getting Dave McCormick or we're going to get stuck with Bob Casey again. You know, it's just, which one are you going to pick? You know, Bob Casey, who's openly gone against the MAGA movement because he is a Democrat. He's sided with Joe Biden on pretty much everything, you know, or are you going to take McCormick, who is at least claiming to be pro-Trump, that you could hold his feet to the fire a little more if he gets in and you don't like something he does. You understand what I'm saying? You know, this is it, we just have no choice but to make sure that the House and Senate go red.
Oh, that's for sure. Stephen made a good point here on chat that RFK is part of the equation too. He asked the question, what happens if none of the candidates reach 270 electoral votes and the Democrats control the House? We're in trouble.
And that's a real possibility even now, because you see how many Republicans are resigning.
On purpose.
That's what I think it is too. I think it's 100% intentional, because our majority was razor thin to begin with. It is even thinner now. We are not far from Hakeem Jeffries being Speaker of the House. You know, it's very close to Hakeem Jeffries becoming Speaker of the House. And you know, I'm definitely no fan of Mike Johnson. I really think that we should have a motion to vacate again, like MTG is saying that she's going to do, and hopefully we get it right this time. But I would, it's all back to the, you know, don't fall in love with the candidate, fall in love with the outcomes. You know, get the people that you could persuade not to go against you the easiest. I would definitely take Mike Johnson over Hakeem Jeffries. If I could only pick one or the other, it's that's a no-brainer.
And that's the problem right now, because we cannot, Marjorie Taylor Greene cannot bring us to the table, because you remove him and you can guarantee a Jeffries speaker.
Oh
Guaranteed.
yeah, and we're not far from that at all.
No,
That's a very real possibility
we're
that
only down to
Hakeem
3 votes.
Jeffries, that Hakeem Jeffries could become Speaker of the House before Election Day. That is a very real possibility of that happening.
And that's why we cannot afford this. And she's got to put that to the side. And
Yeah.
they just got to work with Mike Johnson and make sure he doesn't sign any more of these stupid bills. I don't give a shit if the government shuts down. Shut them down
No.
until they protect our border. No money for anybody.
Right?
And
That's
that's
been
where
my
Trump
argument
goes
too.
off.
Yeah, that's been my argument too. That's my biggest criticism of Johnson and many of the other Republicans in Congress. They bail out the Democrats every single opportunity they get to bail them out. You know, if you don't shut down the border, shut down the government. Who gives a shit if the government is shut down or not? It's just what is more important? Keeping the government open or keeping the people safe?
Well, according to the Democrats don't care if we're safe or not.
No, apparently not. Apparently, many of the Republicans don't either, if we're being honest, because they keep bailing these people out. And that's what I said. That is my main concern this election, is that we're going to lose the House and the Democrats are going to keep the Senate. Because honestly, if you're somebody that is not politically involved, you don't pay attention to this like you and me do, or even the people that are watching us right now. You know, if you just casually pay attention to politics, why in the hell would you vote Democrat if you're not thinking like we are, because we pay attention to this so much? If you're just an everyday person, why in the hell would you vote Democrat and vote for a Democrat House and Senate? I mean, you almost can't blame some people, because there's been no action, and the only action there has been to bail out the Democrats. And in the end, that screws the people if people sit out and vote. But if people do sit out and don't vote for any other candidates but Trump, you almost can't blame them in a way, because the Republicans in Congress have shown us absolutely nothing. And I think it's intentional. I think that's what they want to happen. So that's why I say we can't fall for this, because I think that is what they want us to do, is sit out and not vote, or only go vote for Trump. We have to make sure the House stays red by hopefully growing the margin way more than we're at right now. And we have to take the Senate. That's the only way we get stuff done. We can't have Trump going in with a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate, because guarantee you this, they will impeach him day one on some bullshit charge.
They will.
They absolutely will. That is something to think about. They will impeach him, and they will possibly remove him if they have enough numbers.
And they'll do it, and they will do it to his vice president until they get the speaker, Jamal, in there, or not Jamal, or Jeffries.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah,
yep.
until
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why this is so important. Making sure that we keep the House and we get the Senate. It is very important. This goes well beyond the presidential election. Presidential election is incredibly important, of course, but they all go hand in hand. We need all these elections.
Most definitely. And that's why I was looking when I said Jamal. This goes to prove another point about the Democrats don't care anything about us. You got Representative Jamal Bowman called Netanyahu a maniac, demands his removal. And you know why he's asking for his removal? Is because Netanyahu is protecting his people in Israel from the terrorists of Hamas. You would not expect this from anybody that lives in the United States. You think they would want somebody like him in there protecting the people, because we don't have somebody in there that wants to protect us. But you got Jamal Bowman, part of the squad, and each and every one of those squad members should be shipped the hell out of here on a one-way ticket to Afghanistan or something. But they want him to be removed because he's protecting the Israeli people, and he will not put up with Hamas until they're dead. And I can't blame him a bit. He needs to keep doing what he's doing until he doesn't have to worry about terrorists attacking him again, like they did on October 7th or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's just, I don't know how anybody makes the argument for Hamas. You know, everybody says there's a genocide going on, all this stuff. Hamas was the one that attacked Israel.
Yep.
So what do you expect them to do? Not respond? It's like, just imagine if Russia would have done this. Imagine if Russia would have been the one that attacked Israel. How outraged they would be. If the scenarios were exactly the same, they would go absolutely nuts. All of them would be standing with Israel. It is just because really they're all anti-Semites. They hate the Jews. That's what it comes down to. And more importantly, Israel is God's land, and these people are all godless demons. That is what this comes down to. It brings me back to my original point. This is a spiritual holy war we are in right now. These people are all demonic.
And it's just another example of the corrupt Democrats and what this Biden administration is trying to do. Now, I found this article today that words that you're not allowed to use according to the Biden administration. So now they're going to tell you how you can talk. So there's two of the words that really got me now. You're not allowed to call Muslims radical Islamist or jihadist. So if you got a terrorist that attacks you, like Israel did, you're not allowed to call them radical Islamist or jihadist, which what they are. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell you how to talk now. Among other terms as to be avoided are blacklisted, cakewalk, brown bag, grandfathered, and sanity check. Each of these its own historical and implied connotation considered harmful and insensitive.
Oh,
so you insensitive people, this is the kind of stuff that the Biden administration is trying to do. This is why I tell you your First Amendment is being attacked over and over again. And if we let this happen, if this election we cannot win, we are totally screwed. What do you think they're going to do to the Second Amendment if they get control of everything? It is gone. They are going to strip us.
The Second Amendment goes, so do the rest. That's why they try so hard to ban guns, and why they talk about, gun violence and assault weapons that, nobody could even identify what an assault weapon is. It's all about disarming the people, because if they disarm us, how do we fight back? How do we fight back against it? This is how every nation has fallen into a third world dictatorship, into complete tyranny. They take everyone's weapons away. They disarm the people. Then they take away all their other rights. It's just, and it's not just the AR-15 they want to come after. That's the one they always say. If they could ban one gun, they could ban them all. There goes the Second Amendment, and there goes the rest of your rights. That is why every one of your rights are so important. There is a reason that freedom of speech is number one and Second Amendment is number two. Freedom of speech was the most important right, and the Second Amendment was just in case they tried to trample the first.
This is their start by letting all these illegal criminals into our country. Yep. This is their first part of taking away your freedoms, and your freedom to feel protected, to be protected in this country, is gone. Joe Biden not shutting down the border is gone. This is the shows everything that the Democrat Party does is for a reason. They're not doing this. It's done on purpose. And if you don't believe that, you're an idiot, because everything that they're doing is a purpose, and it's about control. The digital dollar will be about control if that ever passes. If the Democrats get power, they will do a digital dollar. And any money that you have at home or in your banks are gone. You'll be turning that into the government.
Yeah, everything these people do is about control. That is why they're that is why they're going full blown right now too. That this is what people need to understand. This is why they want rid of Donald Trump so much, because now their whole game has been exposed. That is why we're on the borderline of full blown communism, and it's going to be full blown communism if we lose this election or if they're able to steal it. That's why I say if Trump does not win this election, we're finished. We are completely finished if he does not win, because all of our rights have been under attack, especially since 2020. Did we learn nothing from 2020? If you people think that 2020 was bad, you haven't seen nothing yet if they are able to steal this election and keep power. It's going to be completely over. This should be the ultimate motivation, because we're winning right now. We cannot lose. We are currently winning. We cannot lose, because that's it. If they keep power, every single one of your rights are gone. Just if you don't believe me, just look at what they've done since 2020 leading up to now. Just look at everything they did. They threatened you to be fired from your job if you didn't get the experimental China virus jab. They threatened to put many of us on the no-fly list if we didn't get the China virus jab. And no-fly list, you know what that means? Can't buy or possess firearms. They shut down businesses, but they allowed rioting during Floydapalooza. But anybody else couldn't go to work, and if you went to the grocery store, you had to wear a mask. And when the vaccines rolled out, you couldn't go here if you didn't get a vaccine. You couldn't work for this company if you didn't get the vaccine. It's just, this is what it's going to turn into. It's going to be complete anarchy. Everyone's rights are going to be gone. It's going to be a scary thing to see. Hopefully we don't see it. So that's why we say you have to go out and vote. There is absolutely zero excuse for not going out and voting.
Yep. And Harold made
we have everything riding on this. Go ahead.
Harold made a point that we should need to stop calling them all Democrats and Republicans, call them establishment communists.
Yep. That's more
exactly
accurate.
Right.
Yep. It's about right. Yeah, that's it. Like I said, this truly is freedom versus tyranny. This is easily the most important election in our nation's history. We have to make sure that we win this. So, get all your family, get all your friends, get them out to vote. Like we say every video we do. If they don't have a way there, offer them a ride. Make sure that everybody gets out and votes. This election is way too important.
Hope you guys keep following us, because we're going to be doing, of course, like I told you, all these primary elections that we can get into. Some of the single state ones we probably won't do, but we will be starting a new conservative viewpoint, hopefully next week. And we'll get a lot more information out to you guys. Please go to our websites. Mine is Country Conservative here on Rumble and in Twitter or X. Brendan is the Brendan Statler Show. Mm-hmm. Please go there, follow, so you get notified when we go live. I do post some advertisements a couple days in advance, so you guys know. I do stream on my YouTube page under Country Conservative 1776. But if you guys don't have a Rumble account, please get a Rumble account. That's our main page. That's where we're going to post all of our videos and our main place to stream. I do stream on Facebook too, but you need to get a Rumble account. It's a great social media site. Start doing your own videos. Start putting the word out with the people that are around you and your followers. Any little thing helps to get people out and vote. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get people out to vote and to get our country back. That's why we do this.
Yep. And as you said, for anyone that's interested, follow me here on Rumble at Brendan Statler Show. I also just started posting my videos on Twitter as well. I'm on Twitter at the Brendan Statler Show. My Twitter handle is Let's Go Brendan _5. So check me out on both Rumble and Twitter. Those are the two places I post videos. So I just put out a video yesterday on the trans mafia. So go check that out, and I'll be putting out more content as soon as I get the opportunity to do so.
Like I said, you'll be seeing some advertisements from me, so that's why you need to go and make sure you follow me or subscribe or whatever, so you get notified when I put the advertisement out of when we're going live, what time, because I would like to be going 5 days a week if I could, depending on what Brendan can do.
I would like to. I couldn't do 5. If I wasn't in college, I would do it, believe me.
He's got school and he's got work and everything that he got to do, and that's more important than these videos. Unfortunately, it is, but he's got to get that stuff done. But if I can do them, I will do them. Get something steady going here, so you guys get the word out, and I can get more stuff out to you guys. Like we said earlier, instead of doing our 5 to 10 minute videos, we can do this for an hour and get more information out to you guys. So we make people aware of what's going on, the corruption. And this won't stop after the November election, even if we get Donald Trump in there, because the Democrat Party is going to try to pull some kind of bullshit after the election's over with and Donald Trump takes over, because they're just known for it. What did they do when Trump was in office in 2016? They fought, they squealed, they lied and cheated and everything to impeach the man over false accusations, and it's proven false accusations.
Yep. Yeah. Everything they've said was a lie. The whole Russia collusion. It was just everything they said. Everything with the Mueller report and it's all been proven to be a lie. But it's amazing how the left still uses the whole Russia hoax as a talking point. They still use the whole fake January 6th insurrection narrative as a talking point, when it's been, proven overwhelming evidence that January 6th was not an insurrection. It's just, it's amazing how these people could knowingly lie with a straight face. It amazes me even more that there's still people out there that watch and listen to these people that will continuously repeat provable lies to them. And there are people that will believe it.
I'm hoping when I get back here, I'm going to show you this. I got to show you this because I don't know what the hell's going on, but you got to see this. It's on Fox News with Jesse Waters. Watch this.
I'm watching it right now. That's a freak.
So you're saying I'm a great writer so you're saying I'm a great writer with a sophisticated understanding of the human condition, but you're not interested in me. I understand.
Listen, it's not your fault you're not a girl, okay?
Okay. That softens the blow. You do frolic with wolves. To wolf sanctuaries, you nuzzle them, you cuddle them. Explain how that looks.
Yeah, I'll go to different wolf sanctuaries occasionally. I'll do the wolf interaction tours. It looks like anybody else, I guess, who does the tours.
Okay. And if you want to know anything about Naya, how she or he.
Okay, I just couldn't pass that up.
The freaks don't just come out at night anymore, Charlie. They're out all hours.
Wow, now we think we're wolves. Now, if we didn't say there was mental problems going on, this person dresses up like that, and oh wow, I just didn't know what was going on. I was sitting there looking at numbers, and this thing showed up on there, and I had to go to that. That was a trip.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently shitting in a litter box right now as we speak, so don't hate on me for that.
Are you seeing anything on Arkansas yet?
I've been looking, and no, I'm still looking to see. I swear, every time I look down, I'm seeing same states I already talked about, and I know we have more than that.
Well, it's coming up on 9 o'clock now. We should have New York going, Rhode Island.
I'll keep my
Well,
eyes peeled.
Rhode Island's already out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
New York,
Trump and Biden are both declared the winners in Rhode Island. I
right?
think Connecticut, same.
And
I
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Wisconsin should already. Were they 8:30 or were they 9 o'clock? I can't remember.
They're supposed to be 9 o'clock. We got 9 o'clock for them, New York, and supposedly Arkansas. Now Mississippi should have been out too, but I don't see anything on that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on them either. It just looped back to Rhode Island here on Fox. So I don't know if we got our time wrong. If everybody's 9 o'clock, I have no idea.
I don't know, but what the hell is this? Some crazy stuff is on Fox. Are you seeing wrestling on Fox? I'm seeing animated wrestling, WWE or whatever, and it's like, what the hell is going on here?
I'm not seeing that yet. It just switched to Hannity's show. There might be a delay between mine and yours. Now I'm seeing Mike Tyson fight.
Oh, geez, I'm Pete.
That
Because we're
dude's
going
still
to
a
9
beast.
o'clock. Yeah, they should be switching to Hannity here soon.
Yeah, they just did on my end. So yeah, I'm not seeing any new numbers yet. I'm still looking. I haven't seen anything yet. So
Yeah, there's so much that the Democrat Party's doing, and there's not a lot of time to tell everybody about it, with the 5-minute videos that we do. And that's why we wanted to try to start this live streaming, if not 5 days a week, at least 3 times a week.
I could do 3 probably. I could
Maybe
do
Monday,
3.
Wednesdays, and Fridays, but we're going to get some more information out to you guys and keep all the information coming instead of doing these videos because of that reason. Because you need the truth out to people, and a lot of people have cut the cord, on cable TV, and they don't watch it. They stream everything on YouTube or Rumble and just everywhere that you can stream. That's what people are doing. You got a lot of the younger guys that are gamers that go to Twitch, and we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and everybody live right now. And the chat comes over from Twitter and all them come over live on here, and that's what we wait for people to chat and let us know where you guys are calling in from or tuning in from, at least, so we know what kind of reach we're getting out, because that's the whole point about getting our truth out to people. We got to get our reach out. That's why we ask you to share our videos and everything, and with your friends and family, to get the truth out, so they know what's going on. If they are one of the people that don't watch cable TV, and why would you? You're being lied to every day.
Yeah. Every single one of them are terrible. Even Newsmax. That's one that people went to after Fox called Arizona for Biden, but wouldn't call Florida for Trump. Even Newsmax. Newsmax is a little better than Fox, but they're still not great. They're pretty swampy too, honestly. So yeah, just about everybody on cable is just terrible. There are great alternative outlets out there. There's Real America's Voice, of course. There's Mike Lindell's Frank Speech. Those are just a few, but a lot of people you'll find right here on Rumble. You got Wendy Bell, you got Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk. You got a lot of great people that you can find right here on Rumble.
I do watch Dan Bongino. He has got a lot of good great inside information.
Oh yeah,
and he does get you a lot out and backed up with facts also. So that's what I'm trying to get here now and try to find the result. that nobody wants to cover this today, and it's unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything yet. Let me see if Newsmax has anything. Fox isn't showing any new states right now. Let me see.
That's Chicago.
For Mississippi, I'm seeing a race between Eller and Smith. I'm not familiar with either one of them, honestly.
You said for Mississippi?
Yep.
Oh, that's a state level.
Yeah, that's why I figured. I didn't recognize our. Okay, I'm seeing numbers for New York now. Biden has won New York. Trump has also won New York. 1% of the vote in for both. So let's see if anything new. Got anything new here?
There's Hannity up finally. So you guys let us know what you think. Do you think this election is going the way you thought it would go or not? Do you think it would go better? Do you think RFK being in the race is going to hurt Trump, or do you think it's going to help Trump? Yeah, Steven Crowder, louder with Crowder. Yeah, I watch out once in a while. I don't have a lot of time to watch all of them that I like, but I do watch Wendy Bell radio and Dan Bongino. Wendy Bell's on 3 hours, Monday through Friday. Dan Bongino's on from 11 to 12, Monday through Friday. I do watch them, but then I got to get busy and doing my research and getting stuff together for a video or for a live stream like today. That's all I had time for today was get everything together for this and get everything set up for this. So there's a lot to do when you don't have producers and people, writers and stuff like that doing stuff for you. And a lot of these people have the money to do that. They come in there and they just put out the facts to you guys. And
Yeah,
I would love to be able to do that, but that'll never happen.
It took me 3 hours yesterday to do my video. My video was like 16 minutes or something like this, just shy of 17 minutes maybe. It took me 3 hours. It's like it's tough when you're
Edit
your
and
own team.
everything.
You don't have anybody. It's yeah, you got to sit down and edit everything. You got to do all the research on your own. It's just you got to cut and edit everything the right way. Yeah, it took me 3 hours to make a video less than 20 minutes long. It's crazy. People that don't do this have no idea what all goes into this. They think you just sit down in front of a microphone and talk. That's not it at all. It's a lot goes into it that people don't see.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Hannity's talking about the illegal immigration and how it's skyrocketed. If you people weren't here at the beginning when we were talking about the Democrats lying to the American people about the crime rates, they're telling everybody crime rates went down, which we know for a fact that it has went up 32%. They're telling you that it went down 32% because over 6,500 law enforcement agencies in the states are not reporting their crimes. So they can officially say, though, covering their ass that crime rate has been down because we haven't had anything reported to us. Well, it's a lie because they're just not reporting it, just to make the numbers look better so they have something to lie to the American people about. Don't fall for what they say.
Yeah, and when it comes to the left, I mean, they're easily manipulated. If they just repeat the same lie enough times, there are going to be people that start to believe it and parrot it. That's what they're hoping. They understand their base is dumb. That's the whole game plan. They don't have to have facts or really anything to back it up. They just need to repeat the same lie over and over again. And eventually the media will repeat it because they're working on behalf of the Washington swamp. And then the sheeple that still vote for these people they'll believe it and they'll repeat it and they'll go vote the way that the establishment wants them to. That's just what it comes down to. It's not smart people at all we're talking about here.
Oh, Hannity just put up a remark from the idiot Whoopi Goldberg saying that people are stupid, saying that they were better off 4 years ago under Trump than they are now. I cannot stand that bitch no matter what. I can't stand any of those people on The View. They all should be removed. Disney should be shut down. They should shut down The View and can them all for lying to people. Because you tell me in chat, were you not better off under Trump than you are right now under Biden? And I hope you liberals are out there. Please make a remark in there and tell me if you were better off now than you are under Trump 4 years ago. Because under Trump, you had gas prices down, taxes were down, food prices were down, inflation was way down, unemployment was way up. There was no unemployment. Unemployment numbers were down. I'm sorry. But everybody was working up until the Democrat push COVID came in. That's the only reason unemployment rate went so high is because the Democrats COVID, and no other president could have handled that any better than Trump did. None of them. I don't. If you would have had this idiot, because more people has died under Biden than under Trump because of COVID and these poison that he keeps pushing, and everybody wants to forget about the Democrats pushing the poison on you and saying the shot stops here. You get this COVID vaccine and it stops here. It won't spread to anybody else. Well, guess what? We all know that's a lie. It's killing more people than it's helping. And if you idiots think any otherwise, you're stupid as hell.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I said, these just aren't smart people we're talking about here. You know, I argue with this one guy. I'm not going to use his name because, you know, what's the point? But I argue with him all the time just because it's just so fun and honestly pretty easy to make him look stupid. This guy literally tried telling me yesterday that we are currently in the strongest economy ever. I said, don't you ever go to the grocery store? Don't you ever put gas in your car? Like, you can have whatever opinion you want about Trump. But to say that the economy we're in is great and that Bidenomics is working, it's like you are delusional if you really believe it. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes it. Nobody can afford to buy a home. Nobody can afford to put food in their fridge. Nobody can afford to put gas in their car. Nobody can afford to. Nobody can afford the basic necessities to live. It's like, you know, and I told the guy this. I said, I know what I was paying at the grocery store and at the gas station when Trump was in. And I know what I'm paying now. Don't tell me that the economy is better than what it was when Trump was in office. Nobody, no rational person really believes that.
If you had any brains in your head, you wouldn't believe it.
You could know absolutely nothing about politics and not be on either side of the argument. You can understand that you were better off before 2021. You can understand that you were better off when Trump was in office compared to now when Biden was installed in the office.
No, most definitely.
It doesn't take anything more than common sense to understand that.
I made this list so long ago of all of Biden's failures and problems that he has caused in this country since he took over 3 years ago. And I got 3 pages full of them. And Trump's accomplishments outdoes this 3-1. Trump has had more accomplishments than any other president has in the history of this country. Trump had this country on the right track by being energy independent, by the taxes being lower. And if you guys don't understand that, giving tax breaks to the rich benefit us too. Because if you give tax breaks to the rich gives price reduction to us. That's how things work. Because you want to sit there and these liberal idiots out there that don't know it's shit about a dollar and say, well, why don't the rich pay more in taxes? the 1% are already paying between 20 and 30% of the total tax in this country.
They don't understand anything about a dollar because they're either super rich or they still live in their mother's basement. That is
the government to take care of them.
Or they're welfare bums. You're right. It's one of the three. There is no in between. When it comes to the people that are still voting for this, you're either super rich and it doesn't affect you, or you're still leeching off your parents, or you're leeching off the working class. That's all it comes down to.
I'm typing. That's why I'm not talking.
That's okay. I was enjoying the silence. I'm not seeing any new numbers yet. The most recent thing I'm seeing is New York, and as I said, only 7% of the votes in. Trump and Biden both declared the winners, of course.
Oh, there's Wisconsin.
I haven't seen them yet. I must not.
Yeah,
have been
Wisconsin. Trump's at 91.7%. That's only 1% in.
Okay, now I'm seeing Wisconsin on Newsmax. Yep. Okay, I see it now.
So I don't have any numbers. I'm on Fox, and they're not showing any numbers. That's what I hate about it.
Trump has 511. Haley has 60. That's Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah, they only have 1% in. So
yeah,
these should be the last two that we get: New York and Wisconsin, and those will be our last two because let's see what's going on in New York.
Trump has 19,643 in New York to Haley's 3,730.
Oh yeah, I see 80%.
And
in New York.
Wisconsin, Trump's at 5,755, and I missed Haley's numbers. For New York, Biden's at 107,559, and the other was over 5,000. Newsmax goes way too damn quick. Their stuff.
And we could keep telling you why we're doing this because although the election is no longer has any practical impact due to the presumptive nominees already having the nominee, but it does remain an essential democratic process. And it's everybody's right to vote if you're an American citizen. You've got these liberal-ass Democrat states that are trying to let these illegals vote in our elections, which is pretty clear that they are not allowed according to the Constitution. That's another reason why we cannot let this election falter from underneath of our feet. We cannot let these Democrats-controlled states win. They cannot fix an election, and that is exactly what they're trying to do with these illegal criminals. The Democrats are trying to push Joe Biden into speeding up the process of making these criminals American citizens. This is what we have to stop. This is why we tell you to get out and vote. We cannot have this. Yeah, we cannot afford 4 more years of Joe Biden. That's for sure.
No, I mean, just look at how bad everything has gotten in, just a little over 3 years. Just look how bad everything is. I mean, could we really take 4 more years after this? I mean, there's no way. Could we really take 8 total years of this? There's absolutely no way we survive. Another Biden presidency. There's no way.
Look what's happened in 3.5 years that he's been in there.
Yeah, that's my point. 3.5 years. You think we could afford a total of 8? There's absolutely no way. There's no way.
What do you guys think in chat? Let us know. Do you think we're good for 4 more years of Joe Biden, or do you want to see a change in this country? Let us know in chat.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? The thing that is unique about this election, we have somebody running that has already been president. This hasn't happened since I don't even think a former president has run for the presidency since Grover Cleveland. I know he was the only one to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, but I don't recall a a former president ever running for the presidency uh, uh, non-consecutively, other than Grover Cleveland. This is very unique what we're seeing here. You have, it's very easy to compare the two candidates. There's not a whole lot of unanswered questions like many elections have, because you have someone that has served as president and you have a guy that is currently serving as president, and those are the two options. Did you like life better under Trump, or are you okay with the shitstorm that we've been experiencing since Joe Biden was illegitimately installed into the White House? That's the question, and that's how you make your decision. I can't for the life of me understand why anybody would even consider the thought of voting for Joe Biden after everything we've seen. I just do not understand it.
I don't know what goes through somebody's head if you actually pay attention to what's going on in this country
No,
with all the
no.
wars and everything that's going on. Under Trump, there was no wars. He had a peace deal in the Korea Peninsula with North Korea and South Korea, and now Kim Jong Un, the nutcase that he is started up his nuclear reaction and everything, nuclear weapons and everything. Then you have Russia and Ukraine, China and Taiwan, Israel and Gaza, everything under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. This is what happens. They run off of chaos and issues. That's all they know how to do.
Yeah. And real quick, I want to point out something that Harold, I think it's Harold, said in the chat here. He says, if Trump, none of the candidates get to 270 electoral votes, and the Democrats control the House votes on the president, and they won't vote on Trump or RFK, and that will lead to 4 more years of Biden. So that is also something else to think about.
I'm not really worried about him taking votes away from Trump because of some of the issues that RFK is doing. RFK is definitely he's leaning more Democrat than he does the liberal part of him. To the independent side. He's got too many issues with him, so I'm thinking he will take some maybe, but he's a liar too.
I think it could go either way, honestly. Like I said earlier, I think he has a very likely potential of taking away votes from Biden just because of his VP pick and some past comments he's made about green energy and gun control. But there are a lot of independents right now that do support him, and Trump is still doing very well with independents, but Trump needs to do better, because independent votes is where elections are won and lost. Trump needs to win over some of the independent voters that are on the fence between him and RFK. That is a reality, because independence is where elections are won and lost when it comes down to it. RFK, like I said, it really can go either way. Right now, polling indicates that he is pulling more votes from Biden, but there's nothing stopping that from going in the complete opposite direction to where he starts pulling votes from Trump. Personally, I wish RFK would have dropped out of the race or stayed registered Democrat, which he would be out of the race at this point because Biden's already the party nominee for the Democrat Party. I did not like the fact when he switched to independent, because there is that possibility that it could go in the complete opposite direction, and he's taking votes away from Trump. So that is something that does concern me. Trump definitely needs to find a way to win over some more of these independent voters that are in between voting for him or RFK.
I'm typing again, so I'm not hearing you.
It's okay. I wouldn't listen to you anyway. Still not seeing anything new as far as
Yeah, I'm on a
results go.
commercial right now.
I'm on Newsmax, but I'm not seeing anything that I haven't already seen. So I'm still keeping my eyes peeled. It's kind of hard because I gotta look up here every once in a while and I look down. Newsmax goes through their shit so quick, it's ridiculous. So it's easy to miss stuff with them. But I like using them over Fox because they actually show a vote count. Fox does not show a vote count; they just show a percentage. But Newsmax, it's just they go through them so damn quick. It's easy to miss.
I watch a good news channel. It's on Fox, but it's National Desk, and I like it. It's on during the weekdays.
Yeah, I've seen them a few times. They're still,
I like them,
you
but
know,
they're actually part of Channel 11.
yeah, they're not horrible, but they're still establishment media. They're not like they're definitely not as bad as The View. I'm sorry to criticize The View. I know what a big Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar fan you are, Charlie. But
Oh,
they're not quite as bad as The View, but I wouldn't consider them a reliable news source either. I've definitely seen a lot worse because I watch every news outlet that I could possibly find just to see what everybody's saying. I will say National Desk did not give me much of a headache as Morning Joe on MSNBC does.
oh man, I can't stand that Gumby looking some bitch. Oh my god, I cannot stand him. But
Right.
this is what we do for you guys. We have to bear down and suck it up and watch all these lame news media channels, and that I cannot stand. And I will not turn my TV on The View. It will not see a second of airtime. I don't care what I'm missing because those twits, oh my God, I cannot stand them. But we do this. This is what we do for you guys to get you the real information out. Because if you go to one station, you can watch it. If you go to another station and they have the same stories, it'll be totally different. And that's one thing that I cannot stand with watching these media channels. So where do you know to get the truth from? If you can watch a hearing like the House Judiciary Committee or the House Oversight Committee, if you watched a hearing for yourself, or the Miss Piggy, Fannie Willis one, if you watch the hearing for yourself and you hear what comes out of the witnesses' mouths and everything, you could probably be pretty much guaranteed about 90% of what they say is true, except if you're Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade, which hardly any of that was true.
Yeah. My recommendation to people would be just consume as much media as possible, both the left wing and right wing. And after you do that, actually start digging into shit yourself that you have questions about. Because, just sitting and watching, this is a conservative audience, just sitting and watching Fox News and Newsmax, you're not going to get anywhere with just watching media that you agree with, is what I'll say.
Right. We got breaking news right now coming in from Taiwan. Mm-hmm. They just got hit with an earthquake and a tsunami issue has been warned. They're showing buildings that have totally collapsed. If not, they're leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I want you guys to see this real quick. Look at some of these buildings. I'm going to put the volume on so we can hear.
Sean, you can imagine with a quake this large, you are likely going to have some casualties of some kind, whether it's fatalities or injuries. Again, there are reports of people trapped inside some of those collapsed buildings. This is a major breaking news situation, and we'll update our viewers as more information comes in. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Bill Mallusion, looks bad.
That is not a good thing because we've got military members over there, and you never want to see anybody like that being affected by something like this. And I mean, half those buildings that I saw were leaning like this, and it's a shame. So we're going to be watching that story also.
Yeah,
But
it's
I'm sorry I
crazy.
interrupted you, though. I wanted to get that out real quick.
No, all I was saying is, you gotta consume media in all forms. It can't just be media you agree with, or you're not gonna get the full story. Because, like I said before, and like Charlie has also said before, every outlet on cable sucks. I don't care who it is; they all suck. You have to watch everybody, and plus, for watching left wing media, it's all about knowing your enemy. You could see which way things are going by how your enemy is reacting. So that's the important thing to look for. And like I said, actually doing your own research, that's the problem we have as a country today. Far too many people are lazy and don't want to look into stuff themselves. They'd rather just sit in front of the TV, watch Fox News, CNN, whoever their desired network is, and just take what they're saying on that network as fact and the complete truth and everything. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. People just need to quit being lazy when it comes down to it. It's just that's the only way I could put it.
And the problem is that how do you know what the truth is and what not the truth?
How do you know? Well, I guess what it would be is you just use your common sense and what seems the most logical to you. You have a pretty good idea inherently what is bullshit and what is fact if you just open your mind and use your common sense. So, you get both sides of the story, then, most people can decipher what is bullshit and what is fact. That's the only way you could do it, in my opinion. What makes sense? What is the most likely answer?
I'm trying to spell Taiwan, and I don't even remember how.
TAWIAN. I think that's right. I wasn't a spelling major.
Well, that's okay. It's close enough. But yeah, what you guys got to look out for is seeing what's true and what's not true. You got to judge for yourself. You got to watch what goes on in real time. You can't trust a journalist because there is no real journalist anymore. Nobody goes out and does investigative reporting. They just blow out a story, and they deal with the consequences later if it's fake. And they say, "Oop, my bad." And
the thing is, thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but there's not really any consequences for the media putting out knowingly false information.
Exactly.
They just completely sweep it under the rug, and nobody ever asks questions about it because they're working on behalf of the deep state. It's just we need to start holding media accountable, and it's one thing to have opinion shows, but when you are presenting something as absolute fact, when it is provably false, like we see every single day from the mainstream media, these media companies need to be held accountable after a while. And I'm not saying to regulate speech. I'm perfectly fine with people having opinion shows, but it needs to be clear that it is an opinion show. We cannot be presenting things as 100% fact when it is propaganda.
And that's mostly what they put out.
Yeah.
Propaganda. They do this because of this reason. They do this because of elections. They do this to control you. And this is what people got to realize, that it's all about control. And we keep repeating ourselves on that throughout the show, throughout our videos. Everything that government, the whole government, it's just not Republicans and Democrats. I mean, it's everybody. They want to control you. So this is where you have to keep your eyes open. And that's what pisses me off about all these liberal idiots, because they come in here, they come home from work if they work, and they watch one thing. And when it tells you what it is, that's what they go with. They don't research anything. They don't educate themselves. They're idiots. And when you try to educate them, they don't want to believe it. And they call you a racist or a fascist or whatever the case may be. They want to use the typical liberal lines on there. And I see it all the time, especially on my Facebook page. because I have this one idiot that wants to sit there and run his mouth every time you turn around and wants to tell me that I'm wrong, and I prove him and I show him the facts, and it's still not right. So I stopped responding to them because they're not worth my time and my breath because they don't listen in the first place.
Might be the same guy I argue with. I'm not going to use his name, but is his initials J and Z?
It might be. I have a few of them. I have a few of them on here that think they're right.
He's a special unit. That's all I can say. He's just guy has zero common sense whatsoever, and that's how a lot of these people are. Like it's just that zero critical thinking skills whatsoever. They just believe whatever bullshit is thrown down their throat by the media.
Oh, I've even blocked family members because they don't listen to the truth. And it just dumbfounds me how people can look at Joe Biden and not see how pathetic and that he belongs in a rest home.
He belongs in a prison. He belongs in a prison cell.
He does do that. He does belong in prison because the whole Biden family is corrupt. And that's what gets me too, because the Republican chairman, James Comey, and the House Oversight Committee and Jim Jordan have all this proof. They impeached Trump on a hell of on lies.
Yeah, on nothing, really.
And Republicans got actual facts and checks to back up everything, proof to back up everything, and yet they do nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's what the Republican Party has been for years. It's a party. Yeah, it's a party of talk and no action. That's all it is. Like, honestly, I would be embarrassed if I was Sean Hannity, honestly, constantly having these people on my show. I wouldn't invite them on my show anymore. I really wouldn't, because why would you? It's ridiculous. But I have my opinion that Hannity's part of the machine, honestly. So that's probably why. But I mean, I would be embarrassed as a serious journalist to keep having these people on, because they're all for show. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything at all. They're not going to impeach Biden. They're not going to go after Hunter Biden. They're not going after Merrick Garland. They're not going after any of these people. It's just lip service. None of it is happening.
I know they did. Did you see today that the judge dismissed all of Hunter Biden's things about dismissing his trial, which is a good thing, on his taxes? The judge has dismissed everything and is making him go to trial on his taxes, which he should. And the son of a bitch needs to go to prison.
Hey, he should have went for many reasons, for all the illegal stuff he did overseas. But he should, at the very least, have been charged for lying on a gun application.
Right. That alone should have put him in prison.
Yeah, I mean, either one of us, we would have went for probably close to 5 years, at least 5 years.
Right.
If we did it.
He was trafficking hookers. Yeah. And when I say trafficking, it also means he hired a hooker from another state and he flew him over to see him. That is trafficking. It doesn't have to be illegal. It doesn't have to be a kid. It doesn't have to be a kidnapped person. If you fly somebody across state line, you can drive them across state line, and that is considered trafficking. He should have went to prison for that. There are so many things.
There are many things he should go to prison for.
Right, and nothing happens, and that's what's so frustrating dealing with this Republican Party. But we're talking Republican Party. But once you get Trump in there, and he's back in office, and he can take effect, he doesn't have to depend on the Republican Party. He can do things with executive action, which Biden refuses to do, and he keeps saying that he needs permission to do stuff, which is a freaking lie. Yeah. He can do executive actions on a lot of things, but what you don't want to do is do executive actions on something that the Republican Party doesn't agree with, because they can go with the Democrats, side with them, and stop whatever executive action order that you put out.
Yeah.
So, but he can get a lot more done even without the Democrats, even if they do end up controlling one of the houses.
And it could be a lot of political pressure that Trump could put on these people, because Trump is the most popular candidate we've seen in, maybe ever, if we're being honest. The way he's able to communicate with his base, he can really put a lot of pressure on these establishment Republicans to get stuff done. So that's why they want to get rid of him so bad. Even especially talking about the Republicans. This is why the establishment Republicans want him gone, because they just want this old status quo. They want to have the fake infighting with the Democrats look like they're, fighting for the American people when they're really not. They're screwing you every chance they get. They want to go back to the old status quo, and they know they can't have that as long as Donald Trump is in the picture.
But with this election, we've got to remind these politicians that they work for the American people. That is why the Constitution was made. We have got to get this back into their head. We've got to get money out of Washington, D.C., because we've got to get the lobbyists out. We said this on our last live stream, that the money is the problem in this country, because you get politicians that go into a $175,000 a year job coming out multimillionaires.
Yep.
That is from all the bribery that they're taking. And that's what a lobbyist is. And this is what we've got to do. We have got to get term limits so these people cannot be able to become millionaires. We've got to stop the lobbying. We've got to stop them from being paid by these places for speeches. They're being paid millions of dollars just to make a speech.
Yep.
If they are making a speech on behalf of being a senator or a congressman, they don't need. They're being paid by the taxpayers. They don't need to be paid.
Right. That's right.
This is the kind of stuff why we tell you the election is so important.
Yeah, if we at the very least got term limits in place, that would solve 95% of our problems. That's the thing. These people get in and their seat is bought and paid for as long as they want to be there, if they're doing the bidding of the establishment, of the deep state. Once these people get in, you can't get rid of them. That's the problem. Look at people like Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. All these people, they've been in there for decades. You can't get rid of these people if they're doing the job that the establishment wants them to do. That's why I said, if at the very least we got term limits established, 95% of our problems are gone.
Oh, better believe it. I'm watching, but I think we're pretty much done and wrapping up.
I think so too. We're not getting anything
declared,
else. It doesn't seem like.
No, me either. So I think we're going to wrap up for this evening. And I'm not sure yet when we're going to be on next. Like I said, hopefully next week we'll do a couple live streams, just regular live streams under Conservative Viewpoint. And like I said, I will let you know. I will definitely put out advertisements on here on Rumble, Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube. I'll put them on Locals also. We're also streaming on Locals, and let you guys know when we're going to go live for our regular streams and when we're going to do our next primary stream. And in November, it's going to be a big night in November, November 5th for general election. We will be on here most of the night. Hopefully it's on a night that Brendan can stay on here all night and he doesn't have to work or something the next morning. But I want to thank you for tuning in.
I will be here election night with a lot of Jack Daniels. It's going to be.
And everybody else, you guys can grab your drinks and join us in chat. And if you guys got any questions, let us know in chat. The new numbers in New York. You got any new numbers in New York?
I got nothing. Let me go back to it.
Because
I was on Fox. And they don't have numbers.
Yeah, they don't put numbers down. Fox puts percentages down, which I don't like that.
I don't know either. Newsmax was on break. Let's see let me get them back up here, see what they got, if they're back on. New York, Trump is at 45,816 with 17% of the vote in. Haley is at 8,000 920. Let me
Well,
see if I can get Biden's. Let
Biden.
me rewind here for a second. If my
Curious
thing will
about
go
that.
up. All right, let's see here. Biden in New York is at 185,980 with 32% of the vote in.
Shit.
The Williamson girl that's running against him, 9,586 votes.
Yeah, but I was hoping Biden's numbers would be a little lower than that.
Yeah. Well, it's only 32% in.
All right. Yeah,
See
it's
what-
going to go up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But we probably won't get any results tonight because, we can't have just election night. We have to drag it out for 5 days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well,
Wait.
guys, I want to thank you for joining in to us tonight. And you guys keep an eye out. Please don't forget to go to our Rumble page or our YouTube or our X page and follow us and subscribe. And so you get notified when we do go live. So you'll see my advertisements when I put them out of when we're going to go live. But for me, I want to thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in chat. And I hope to see you guys next time.
yeah. And like I said, I'm on Rumble at Brendan Statler Show. So give me a follow there. I'm also on Twitter at the Brendan Statler Show. My Twitter handle is Let's Go Brendan _5. I post my videos to both. So go give me a follow and check out my videos. And thank you all for watching tonight. And until next time, God bless you all.
Okay, guys. Good night.
Good night, guys.